I think it's horrible. All of what you've said is horrible. It's going to upset people.
It's about the RSPCA. Predominantly about the RSPCA. But I'm going to be recording as well because hoping put it on YouTube. So, the first one is about chickens and turkeys. It's a bit of a statement, then just what do you think? Yep. So, first one. I've reworded these, so we'll see how we go. Young chickens and turkeys often have their beaks trimmed. Yeah, that's to avoid them pecking and harming one another. The process does actually have the potential to cause significant pain and suffering, although the RSPCA, they will openly admit that they don't like this process and claim they want to phase it out. They do still permit this, as long as it's performed by a trained professional. Do you think that process of cutting the beaks can be justified?
No.
No? Why not?
So I don't want the animals to be hurt.
Fair enough. Okay, next one. Chicks, baby chicks. Because they can't lay eggs on their first day of life, most male chicks are macerated. They're sorted, obviously they don't lay eggs, they go male, female. All the female ones are brought up to lay eggs. All the males put on this conveyor belt, typically a day old, and just dropped into this like massive blender. Now, the most RSPCA approved chicks, that's how the majority of people do it, but the RSPCA approved chicks are actually gassed using argon. So this takes no longer than 6 minutes for them to suffocate to death, but often sometimes less. What do you think of that process? Do you think that's a better process?
Well, yes, I suppose it is.
It would be gassing to death, yeah?
Well, other than some massacre, the other way isn't.
Not too sure. Okay. Next one. Male dairy calves. Now, because they're useless to the industry, because they don't produce milk.
Right.
Yep. This is like generally, the two most humane ways of disposing of unwanted calves is either to hit them over the head with a spade or to bolt gun them in the head. Now, this is normally on their first day of life. Now, the RSPCA prefer farmers to actually use electrical stunning, and it reduces the ineffectiveness down from 14% down to 10%, meaning there's about 9,500 calves in the UK put down each month, so only about 950 aren't killed outright. What do you think of that process?
I don't like it, the whole thing.
You don't like the whole thing, no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Final one. Pigs. Now, just before I go through the thing, do you have, if you don't know, could you guess, how do you think pigs are killed in the UK? Just before I ask you to do the statement. What would you guess?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Wouldn't have a clue?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So, the RSPCA approved way to kill pigs in the UK is to send them to a CO2 gas chamber. This is an aversive gas. It forms acid on their eyes and lungs. Essentially, you know when you have a can of Coke and it goes up your nose and and it hurts. So basically it burns them from the inside out. Now it does take no longer than 3 minutes, often as little as 30 seconds for the pigs to die this way. Do you think that's an acceptable way?
No.
No? Why not?
I think it's horrible. All of what you've said is horrible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
These are the most common methods used in the UK in the animal agricultural industry. I mean, I'm assuming do you eat animals?
Yes.
Yep.
I do.
So this isn't a judgment by any shape or means.
No.
I used to do it too myself. Okay, and then I started researching. This is how I found out this information, if you like. But would you agree that all those methods, and actually, I mean, that's just 4 examples, but it applies to all animal agriculture, whatever, fish, doesn't really matter what the animal is, they all have this hidden element to it.
Okay, all right.
Do you know, why would you think it's hidden from you? Why would you not know this about your food?
Well, because it's going to upset people. That's why, like it is upsetting me now.
Sure.
I mean, I know that animals die, but I would like to think they die of either old age or, been eaten by another animal or something like that.
Yeah. Have you ever considered, I mean, not many people have, but have you ever considered where your food comes from in the past? Like how it gets onto your plate, as it were? The process to get it there?
Well, the animals get killed naturally.
Yeah, is that what you've always thought?
Yeah.
And, you know, I did too.
Yeah, and then they go to an abattoir or whatever.
Slaughterhouse, yeah.
Slaughterhouse, and I don't know the ins and outs of everything.
And not many people do.
No.
And for a reason. Like exactly like you said, there's a lot of whitewashing that goes on because the industries, obviously it's big money.
They don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know. You know, like for example, on cigarette packets, they have the picture of the horrible things you can get. Well, if you had the same thing on meat products, if you like, no one would ever buy it. Or if they said this is what happens. So what purposely happens, there's all this whitewashing, and you see things like happy cows, happy hens, these animals lived a lovely life living in the grass
No, it's
fields.
not true.
No, but we don't tend to think about it that often.
Try not to, because you don't want to have those feelings, because it's going to upset you. There's enough in this world at the moment to upset, and I don't need
you don't want any more. I'm going to put that one down for a minute. I don't need anymore.
Stress in my life.
No, 100% agree with you.
I don't like it, what you've talked about. I don't like it at all.
No, but you had no idea about it.
No.
Because some people, some people are different. Some people they do know about it, but they just bury their heads in the sand. It's like, don't want to know. It just gets to my plate. And
yeah, I'm not like that.
No. So
it is of concern.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I'll turn around and say I'm going to become a vegetarian.
Sure.
Because at my time of life now, I couldn't be doing with it.
Sure.
And that's not me being ignorant. It's just that I'm in my 80s and I feel that's it.
Yeah. But do you think that, I mean, it might sound like a silly question. I know the answer to this by your response, but I just want you to hear you say it. Would you say you're against animal abuse?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yes.
And why is it important to not treat animals that way? In a bad way?
What,
to not send them to gas chambers, to not do it? Why would you say that's not a nice way of doing it?
I don't know the best way to do it.
No.
But I don't like that idea at all.
You wouldn't like the idea of the animal feeling pain, of suffering?
No.
Obviously they want to live. They don't want to go through anything horrible.
No.
So I understand obviously how supply and demand works. When you're buying a product, you're essentially saying, you're voting with your money almost. You say, I'm taking this off the shelf, there's now a gap, can you go and replace it for me, please? And what the underlying element of this, and this is something that everyone has done in the past, is that because of the whitewashing, you're paying for this suffering to animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a hard truth of it. It's not a nice thing to think about, but you are. So I completely understand, you're thinking, I've been this way my entire life. Like I said, I'm younger, but, it's not that long ago that I realised this information. It's like, well, I don't want to be responsible for a pig being tortured or a cow being tortured.
No.
For my benefit.
No.
Do you think you need to eat animals to survive?
No, you don't.
No?
You don't. I think if I was a lot younger, I would probably look into. I've got two. My grandson's a vegan, and so is his fiancée.
Yep.
My daughter's a vegetarian. Her partner's a vegetarian.
Yep.
So, if I was probably younger, I might think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to eat animals.
But let's put it into a different context. Okay, not to do with animals. I'm just going to give you a different scenario, just to try and make a point. So let's say, what's a good example? Racism. Let's use racism. I don't know if that's the best one. You're taught racism's normal, happy, good, fine, and you do it for all your life, and then you get to 80 and somebody says, you can't do that to these people. Would you go, I'm too old to change now?
No.
Or would you say, no, that's not acceptable, I'm not going to do it? For an animal's perspective, that animal wants to live, and the animal doesn't care how old you are, The animal doesn't care if you're a 1-year-old baby, a 5-year-old or a 20-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah. It just says, please don't kill me. Please don't put me through this horror and torture. That's all the animal wants.
Yeah.
You just look at it from the animal's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the difference is? So you mentioned about your, you've got people in the family. Do you know what the key difference is between a vegetarian and a vegan?
Not 100%, I don't.
No?
No, I don't. But
Okay.
can I just stop you now? Because I am not a well lady,
Sure.
and I've been out a long while.
Long time, yeah, that's
and
understandable.
I honestly don't want to carry on.
No, that's
because-
absolutely fine. Okay, all I would like to do is I just want to give you a card.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've hopefully given you something to think about today. That's the main thing.
You have, yeah.
Yep. I'm going to give you this.
Okay.
You can scan this, which takes you to the web page. But if you have anything like, if you on the internet, which most people are, there's this website, landofhopeandglory.org, and this will actually reveal. I've barely touched the surface about how horrific it actually is.
Yeah.
This is really important to watch to understand where your food is coming from.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
and there's also resources on like, well, how do I stop and still remain healthy? So that's the important part. You don't want to just stop and go, then become more ill.
Yeah.
You need to keep the protein up. You
Yeah.
need to get all the nutrients, things like that. So please just look into it.
Yeah.
And next time you go to the supermarket, just think, you know what? I'm only doing it because I like the flavour. There isn't a true other answer for it. You don't need it. You just like the flavour of it. So rather than picking that up and having another animal killed for me, I can get the other alternative that hasn't had an animal suffering for me. Because there is, I think 100% now, I think there is now a vegan alternative for literally every single meat product that exists out there. Yeah. You just go to the next aisle where it says plant-based and go, oh, there's a plant-based steak, there's a plant-based bacon, there's a plant-based cheese, or here's some soy milk, oat milk, cashew milk,
I don't
rice
think
milk.
I could become vegan. I'm vegetarian,
Yep.
but not vegan.
Well, so the only difference between a vegetarian and a vegan, I'll tell you that bit. So the vegetarians is I don't eat animals. Yeah, basically it's a diet.
Yeah.
Vegetarianism.
I know a lot about because of my daughter, but
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stop you.
You go, please look at that research.
will.
Please, next time you're in a supermarket, just think to yourself, that animal will, if I buy another one of these, I'm going to be paying for another one to be suffering to replace it.
Okay.
So just think in your head.
about it.
That's all I wanted you to do. Thank you very much for coming over. I will be here relatively often. You can, on the card I gave you, there on the website, there is a contact bit on there as well. You can, my name's Mark. What's your name?
Gloria.
Gloria. Nice to meet you, Gloria. So I'm Mark. You can get hold of me and the rest of my group. But if you've got any questions or you look into it, or maybe you're just like, wait a minute, you said that. I'm not too sure about that. Is that right? Just do your own research, but ask me.
I don't do a lot on the
Internet?
no.
No? Fair enough. But you at least, you could even say to
Yeah,
you,
I can do it.
Yeah.
But I don't, and I'm going to have to go.
you take care. Have a
Thanks,
good day.
Mark.
Okay, thank you very much.
Quite upsetting, but.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's important to know. Thank you. Bye-bye.